So some interesting information has been revealed, guys. Based on doing some more research, I've just, discovered some very disturbing conversations. Hey guys, it's Morali. Hopefully you guys are all doing well today. Back again, it is daily and consistent content. Consistent and persistent, baby. Inject it. Click that button, guys, and subscribe to the channel. And let's get into this video. So this video is about, Phillip Schofield's very close friend, Simon Schofield, the Two-Face Academy Theatre, and a lot of that information. People in the comments were saying that, a YouTuber or a content creator or somebody, was facing a lawsuit in relation to Simon. This is why you have to be careful with also what you say, and that, you can only speak on stuff that is strictly alleged, not of fact, because they will try and do the most to content creators who will not have the financial support or backing to do anything and will get scared and put into a corner. But what I'm about to discuss is public information that is on social websites. So discussing that should be absolutely fine, because last time I checked, we live in the UK. Anyways, let's get into this. So I want to just introduce to you somebody else called John A. Wood. He is a director, and he's having a conversation with Simon Schofield. And John A. Wood has also worked with Matthew Greevy. We know Matthew Greevy to be the young individual who Phillip Schofield groomed. I know people are saying also, Murad, this is like the 10th video you made on Phillip and whatever. Phillip groomed a minor. There should be no complaint about me raising awareness for this conversation and having these discussions in any capacity. So I don't understand what we're doing here. It's a very important conversation. And already to have that attitude of, you've spoken too much on this, the attention is dying down, the conversation of the views are dying down. This is what happens when it comes to boys. The conversation goes down the drain very quickly. So Simon tweets him in 2013 and says, "I've heard there is 4 inches of snow. There must be where you are." His response is, "I've heard you like a good 4 inches." Just banter. That's how it starts. He says, "Just passed this in Blackpool and thought of you. They didn't have little woodies, I'm afraid." I don't think he's referring to minors XYZ. I think he's just referring to grown men who are not as endowed. That's what I assume, but you don't know. Then it gets worse. He responds, Simon, and says, "I'm a gambler. You had best beware, Wood. You have kids. ... For their sake, I warn you." Why would you warn him in relation to his kids? And what would you do to his kids? His response is, "Did you see what was in the background? Fancy fudge." Then John A. Wood tweets at Matthew McGreevy when he was 16, 17 at this age, saying, "Matthew, what's going on, Batman? How many accounts do you have, big boy? Actors reunion, where's M's invite?" So I think he's referring to where's his invite. Calling him big boy when you know he's not a big boy, he's only 16, 17, comes across as quite condescending, patronizing, and something that, grown men like to do to young boys. Refer to them as a grown adult, play with them, toy with them, mind games, and I think that's what he's referring to. And then John A. Wood says, "Well, look at that. Hello, sailor, ... Simon Schofield." And then there's a picture of him when he's a young child and saying, "Well, look at that. Like, hello, sailor," being flirtatious with him when there's a picture of him as a young boy, as a minor. What the hell are you tweeting? Absolutely ridiculous. Then John A. Wood's recent tweet was a skit from Ricky Gervais called Pedo Teachers. If they don't want to make it any more obvious, they most definitely are. All the information is right under our noses. Then it gets also worse when Matthew McGreevy says, "Been nominated for Best Youth Male for my part as Dodger in Oliver. Very excited." Only for John A. Wood, who's made the string of very confusing, disgusting tweets in relation to minors, has said, "I have just directed 3 shows in less than a year, and one of those shows is Oliver. Oliver is a show that Matthew's taken part in and was nominated in." These are the people that are surrounding this 16, 17-year-old, even 10-year-old, 11-year-old, 15-year-old, whenever he had these interactions with all of these men who were all much more grown men. These are the men that surrounded this boy. This is what I'm trying to tell you guys, because I have experienced the same thing with multiple men around me. I can still feel the slaps and beatings on my face by these random men and what they used to do to. I can still feel it on me mentally, and it messes you up for life. It messes you up for a very long time, and I had to do ridiculous things just to get out, which we all know about when I had my whole scandal 8 months ago. You have him being nominated for Best Youth Male, and he was nominated part of the movie that was directed by a guy called John A. Wood, who's made a string of, pedo-related tweets talking about Hello Sailor at him at a young age, retweeting this Ricky Gervais stuff, being in contact with Matthew, who then ended up being intimate with Phillip. And I believe that John and obviously Simon are close friends, or friends at the time. Both probably had relations to Two-Faced Academy, and I had a theory, which I'm sure many other people else had as well, that allegedly, I feel that is not fact, that this could be a grooming ground or place, only for now another individual called John A. Wood to come into it, a director who's interacted with Matthew. He's the one that gets nominated because he's the one who's best suitable to be groomed, which we've seen by Phillip. Guys, the dots are all there. I just feel like something else is there that we're close to that we can't uncover. I don't know if that makes any sense. I feel like something else is under. It's like we're sitting under something huge, and only week by week nuggets of information are revealed, and something is going on to prevent that from being revealed. That's just what I feel it is. It's not a gag order apparently, because they said a couple of days ago the ITV hearing or grilling that there's no gag order, no nothing. So I just find these conversations weird between these grown men, and between Matthew at that age was not 18, was 16, 17 when he was tweeting him and he was nominated. And poor Matthew was probably thinking, I'm nominated, yes. It's just so, like, the fact that I was nominated is crazy. Like, I can't believe that. Same thing happens to me. Like, when I was 16, I got a job in retail in Gap. And I was so excited and happy that I got the job after the interview, only for that guy who hired me, who was 40, would hold my hand around the store, flirt with me, ask if I'm single, ask if I'm doing anything tonight. And then as I got older, I realized I only got that job because he liked me at a very awkward age, which I was so naive. I didn't understand it. So that's probably what his mindset was as well at the age of 16, 17. I got this, I got that, I'm nominated for this, I'm going to be in This Morning, when these men around him had other ulterior motives, and that helps to be textbook definitions of grooming. Now, maybe Phil did not intentionally want to, but it doesn't matter in regards to intent, because you did, and you know what it is. Why couldn't you have gone for somebody your own age? It's just, there's just these tweets unearth a different revelation when it comes to this, and this is public information. All I'm doing is just discussing tweets. That's all I'm discussing. That is it. And everything else that I'm referring to is only alleged and not fact. But yeah, make of this information what you will, guys. Make of this information what you will. It is triggering to me when I think of stuff like this, because even at the age of 18, 19, 20, when I was doing this, sex work for these grown men in these 40s and 50s, and I would meet them, and then they would say, oh, call me these offensive language, call me these slurs, call me this, that, because they really want. And it's like, you don't have a choice. I'm not allowed to leave these rooms. I'm locked in there. I'm beaten up. And I'm forced to play out their sick fantasies, and now when I'm in my mid-20s, I'm just like, why did they ask for that stuff? Why did they make me do that stuff? It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't absolve me of my own responsibility, because you need to take responsibility for your actions, but it also makes you realize that these men prey on you to do things that are sick and twisted, absolutely wild, and they didn't get any of the blame, and they're right now out there with young boys, just like how some of these men could be out there going for their next target, going for the next person, because Matthew's my age now. We're too old now. We're not the young, sweet 15, 16, year olds that they want to go for. They're going to go for the next generation and the next generation. So if you have young boys and you're watching this video, please just be careful when they go to sleepovers, when they go to, friends' houses during the day after school, what after school club that they're going to. Be very self-aware of who is around them, because it's easier to turn a blind eye when it comes to young boys, and everybody makes it become very dismissive. And I just think that conversations like this are interesting. Apparently Matthew's even father was involved in this. I wouldn't even be surprised if that were to be the case. Apparently he was part of the company. Maybe he had no idea. I don't know, guys. He's not chosen to speak out. But in my opinion, his silence speaks a lot more, because in the height of when this all was revealed 2 weeks ago, all he had to say was something to help save Phil's career. And he chose not to do that. And he choosing not to do that speaks volumes in my opinion. Subscribe to the channel, click that button guys, it is daily and consistent content, and I'll catch you guys soon for another video. Subscribe guys, click that button.